whether you are bedroom only or 24/7 lifestyle. Whether you identify as kinky, non-monogamous, BDSM, leather, fetish. Dating Kinky is packed full of practical information and proven tips and suggestions to find and connect with the right person or people for love, sex, play, friendship, and more. Welcome to the Dating Kinky Book Club, presented by Dating Kinky and Curiouser.life.
Hello, and happy International Women's Day to every single one of you, the women, those with women in their lives. It's a day of celebration of women, and I'm super excited about it. I started off the day this morning talking about what submissives tend to get wrong about service in FLR, Femdom, and women in charge relationships. And I am excited to continue the kink with today's episode, the second episode of the Dating Kinky Book Club, focused on core values. Yeah, super excited about that. I do want to say, though, today is the second anniversary of Dating Kinky's first weekend event, which was International Kinky Women's Day, celebrating the women in kink and the kink in women. And so I'm feeling a little nostalgic today, remembering like an entire day. I think it was, we went for 13 hours straight of presentations by and for Women's Day 2 years ago. And it was exhausting and exhilarating, and it was the start of many additional weekend events from Dating Kinky. So yeah. Hello, Cobalt. Good to see you. Hello, Jaspreet. Thank you so much. And happy Holly. Yes, I had, I know that Holly's going on. Happy Festival of Colors to those of you who celebrate. So to all of you. For those of you who don't know me, hi there. I'm Heather. I'm also known as Nookie. I am a hedonistic, dominant, cuckoldress pimptress who is polyamorous and monoromantic. I live a woman in charge lifestyle with my partner of nearly 10 years. It's full of love, sex, passion, and exploration. I write books, teach workshops, and offer coaching for better love, sex, romance, and, of course, kink for people of all genders, relationship statuses, orientations, and more. So when you are out there searching for the kinky boopsies of your fantasies, you're probably focused in on finding people who share your kinks, right? I mean, that makes sense, which is all well and good. But shared kinks do not a relationship make. Let me say that again. Shared kinks do not a relationship make. And I would like to say that even louder for the people in the back who, for some reason, think that because I wrote a book about I wrote a book about butt stuff, that sending me a first message offering their posterior entryway for my pleasure is a good way to begin a relationship. No. Shared kinks do not a relationship make. So in this second, number 2 episode of the Dating Kinky Book Club, I'm going to talk with you about your core values and why they will matter more than anything in your kinky dating search. But before we begin, the last episode of the Dating Kinky Book Club, at the end of the episode, Sabyasachi added a question that I missed. And I'd like to make sure and answer that now. So Sabyasachi had said, in dating, when I prefer to say about kink, I've always found it hard to describe why I like a certain kink. And I'd like to address that real quick. So here's the thing. I understand that a lot of times when we're talking about kinks, people will say, well, why are you interested in that kink? The challenge here is that we as humans are incredibly complex. And why we like a certain kink may be lost to brain chemicals, some sort of odd thing that happened when we were young, a fleeting glimpse of a stocking or whatever it is. What I would do, especially if you have a hard time answering a question like that. So why are you into, fill in the blank? Why are you into women's ankles? I was watching, it was a 2013 show, RIPD, the Rest in Peace Department. It had Jeff Bridges and Ryan Reynolds in it. And Jeff Bridges played a dude from like the 1800s who like kept commenting on women's ankles because, when he was alive, women didn't show their ankles. So that made them very alluring, right? That sort of thing. But if you don't know why you're into a certain kink, that's fine. Why not turn it around and say, why are you interested in expressing that kink in this way? What is attractive to you about seeing an ankle in stockings? What is attractive to you about seeing a naked ankle? Is there an attraction to you for seeing an ankle covered up in boots versus skirts? Now, I'm just being silly, of course, but I personally feel that we have a tendency to ask why when the better question is, what do you get out of it? And how can we collaborate together to make this an interesting project for both of us, or an interesting scene for both of us, or to bring more of that sort of experience into our relationship? Make sense? So that one is for you, Sabyasachi. As Cobalt says, a good answer to the why is, well, it just makes my goody bits tingle. Okay, so core values. Oh, and a real quick thing before we get going, please feel free to add your questions and comments in the chat. I keep an eye on the chat and I like engaging with you as we go. Do not hesitate to say hello, to ask questions about the content, and, be inspired by anything I say and just engage with this. A big part of what I do and teach. Celine says, I really want to yell that why doesn't matter. So Celine has been steeped in my philosophy for a long time, and I like to say that why is mental masturbation. It feels good, like we're actually getting something done when we're constantly asking why and thinking about why, but it doesn't, in the long run, mean anything. It's what we do with who we are that really matters. Yeah. So core values. A big part of what I do and teach is about boundaries. A boundary is a line that determines what is me and what is not me, right? My core values are a huge part of me. And those help to determine my boundaries and how I choose to live my most authentic life. It's my personal belief that core values are key to your relationship success. Whether you're looking for something casual or searching out long-term marriage prospects, whether you're kinky in that specific relationship or not, right? Because for many kinksters, having kink in every relationship is a must-have, whereas for others, not so much. Some kinky folk have stable, loving, vanilla relationships and are simply looking for play partners to explore their kinks, or are polyamorous and have multi-partners that fill many facets of their personalities. There is no one true way to kink. Hey, Sabyasachi, did you get a chance to hear that I answered your question from last week, because if not, you're going to have to check out the replay. So back to what I was saying. There is not one true way to kink. And I will die on this hill. Seriously, fight me about this. I am a firm believer in there being as many ways to kink as there are people to do it. Oh, and please don't forget to like this video and share it wherever you find me. It's a huge help for me to have people recommend me and my content to friends, family, groups and pages online, whatever. And thank you, please, and thank you so very much on that. I'm honored when you do choose to share me. So back to the one true way. My philosophy in life and love is that when it comes to any kind of relationship, kinky or otherwise, what works for one couple or polycule or whatever may not be what works for another. So I'm a big fan of do what works. I'll say that again. Do what works. That is one of my main mantras in life as well as in my relationships. Take what works for you from this series, from any series I produce, from any of my lives, from my workshops, and from the huge library of over 400 presentations that we offer, and leave the rest. Or use the rest to expand your understanding of what works for others. And Cobalt says, being a smart ass, I'd say the one right way to kink is the way that works for you, except that there might be multiple ways that work for you, right? And you don't know that until you found them. I guess the point that I'm really trying to get at here is, please don't ever think that I'm telling you what to do. I'm dominant, but I'm not your dominant. I'm giving you information to figure all that out for yourself and your partner or partners. And simply identifying your core values gives you a step up in finding the right connections, because you know who you are at your center and what you're looking for in your counterpart. And knowing who you are will benefit you in so many ways. Writing better profiles to attract who you want to connect with. Better and more consistent messaging. Stronger and healthier boundaries when dating and creating a relationship. Negotiations. Conflict. And so on. So let's do some work, if you can, with me. I'm going to read off a list of values. Write down the ones that really resonate with you. These are all, of course, included in the book. I hope you'll grab a copy of Dating Kinky for yourself so that you can follow along with this series. You can purchase it on Amazon for Kindle or Audible, narrated by the amazing N.J. Cole. Or you can get it in PDF, EPUB, or Mobi format free in our membership community by joining Dating Kinky. You can get the audio version as part of a Dating Kinky Plus membership. All right. Hello, Sir Thomas. How are you doing today? So let's see. I've got some. I'm going to upload a graphic here. I should have done this earlier. Sorry. Going to be a little slow here for just 1 second. There we are. Okay. Open. Excellent. It's thinking. Excellent. Here we go. So we are going to, there we go. Fabulous. Here goes. Remember, write down the values that really resonate with you as I go through this list. And if you're not in a situation where writing them down is convenient, note mentally a few of your strongest values as you hear them. Autonomy, courage, excellence, fulfillment, innovation, love, playfulness, self-actualization, solving problems, uniqueness, beauty, creativity, excitement, fun, helping, joy, mastery, revolution, self-reliance, growth, stimulation, change, vitality, caring, challenges, elegance, dignity, fairness, freedom, grace, balance, happiness, honesty, justice, learning, perseverance, safety, security, service, family, simplicity, synergy, truth, wisdom, strength, optimism, zest, realism, dependability, reliability, loyalty, commitment, open-mindedness, consistency, efficiency, innovation, good humor, compassion, spirit of adventure, motivation, positivity, passion, respect, fitness, patriotism, harmony, and faith. Well, there you go. Let's see. Now, let me see if I can figure out. Now, remember, I told y'all, and you may not remember this, but I told y'all that this, there we go. Look at me figuring out the technology. I mentioned last week that I am using a new streaming software. So there's a few differences in like how I see all of this stuff. Cobalt says, ads for myself, matriotism, love of Mother Earth. There you go. So if you could have only one of 10 values you selected, which would you pick? What is the most important to you? Mentally think of that list or write down on your list, mark that value as 1. What value did you mark as number 1? What is your greatest priority? Right? From the remaining values that you really resonated with, if you could have only one of those, which would it be? Mark that one as 2. And then continue the process to get your top 5 most critical, highest priority values. Now, when a relationship aligns with these core 5 values and as many of your top 10 as possible, it will flourish more naturally. Now, kink may be one of those top 5 values, or a woman in charge relationship, or power exchange. That's fine. But I'm guessing it's not all 5 of those top values, right? you're going to want other things from a relationship. And if a relationship doesn't align or grows counter to your values, it will at best feel off. And at worst, create powerful emotional strife. So let's look at this from another perspective. Do you remember a relationship in your past that didn't align with those core values? Maybe it only didn't align with one of those specific core values, like just one even. Sort of like a tag, an itchy tag on an otherwise comfortable sweater, for example. But how did that feel? I mean, obviously, you know how I think it feels, like an itchy tag on a comfortable sweater. But how did it feel to you? Did you argue about it? Maybe you tried to change to fit the relationship or make it work. Maybe they did. Probably something you don't want to do again, right? Right. But there's a catch. Do you know what it is? Jasprit. So is it like if you have common values with partners, you will connect well as you have common grounds? Yeah, absolutely. So the common grounds can be things that you both understand and or do and or enjoy. So you both like running marathons. You both like raising championship platypuses, right? You both enjoy good food. You both enjoy travel. Whereas values are pieces of who you are and who you need them to embody in order for those common grounds or experiences to keep you going. Does that make sense? And while you think about that and possibly, share an answer or two, I'll tell you a bit about our Plus membership. I mentioned it earlier. So you can find out about our Plus membership at getplus.datingkinky.com. If you love this content and want more education on love, sex, romance, and of course, kink, there is no better deal than Plus. So not only do we give our Plus members an edge in the Dating Kinky apps with a little badge on the profile that shows that you support us and are committed to and serious about connecting with other kinky people, we also give you a boost in technology, like with saved searches and notifications when someone new joins who matches your specifications. We have group chats for Plus members and required group chats coming soon, and video verification with all users, video and audio chats with other Plus members, and higher chat request limits. You'll get access to my books, not just Dating Kinky, which, like I said, even just by joining Dating Kinky, you get the digital copy free, but also Understand Me Now and That's in Order, FLR, Femdom and Women in Charge, It's Not Cheating, The Big Book of Ass, and more. With over 400 hours of educational webinars, Dating Kinky has you covered on learning everything you need to know to make the most of your connections, no matter where you make them. And for only $9.99 a month, $49.99 for 6 months, or $74.99 for a year, you get access to all of that. And over 300 hours of additional content on power exchange, relationships, communication, rope, navigating the kink scene, mental health and kink, and so much more. And if you're not ready, and I understand that, but I'd really love you to be ready. Don't forget to like, love, or subscribe to this channel wherever you're finding me so you don't miss a single live. Cobalt says, amateur chinchilla herding. Absolutely. And yes, that was Birdie. She is not pleased to not be on my lap right this moment. And that guy over there, yeah, it is. It's a great value and it keeps growing because these lives that we're doing here, they'll stay up on the channel for about 7 to 10 days. And then they'll be taken down, processed into audio and video format, put into the Plus membership library, and then clips will be shared back on the channel publicly for the permanent record. So that's a great way to catch up on all of these lives that I'm doing on all of these different topics. Okay, but I was talking about a catch. What is the catch to prioritizing the values that you want in another human? Here's the catch. Do you embody your own values? How many of your top 10 values can you provide to a partner? And be brutally honest with yourself here. Like, brutally honest. For example, for me, adventure and fitness are core values for my relationships. I also know me, and I don't run. I don't do marathons. Fitness to me is strength and the ability to hike 20 miles over varied terrain, not looking like a model or a hard body, because that's not me, right? Knowing realistically what I offer, what you offer, and what I'm looking for, what you are looking for, helps tailor your profile and kinky search accordingly, right? Cobalt says, much better now than I have in the past. There are a lot of people out there, though, who want people who embody values that they don't have and also don't support. People who want to be loved for who they are, but are mean-spirited and judgmental towards others. People who want amazing sexual pleasure and passion, but don't put any efforts into pleasing their partners or learning about love, sex, and romance in relationships. And yes, you do need to learn about them. Like, this is not something we're born knowing, and most people never are really taught anything about all of this. People who want a dominant, who will give them tasks and track their progress and punish them, but will be laissez-faire about actually following through on those fantasies when they're not in the mood. Or vice versa, people who want a submissive to serve their every need and whim, but who won't give that positive reinforcement or praise and effort to make it worth the submissive's while in a collaborative power exchange dynamic. Cobalt says, I can promise I will never go camping or mountain hiking with you, but I'll always adore your nature photography. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, do you live your core values? And do you support and positively reinforce the values you want in a partner? And if not, why not? For example, a lot of people say that they want honesty in their relationships. Show of hands in the chat. I know a lot of you are probably just listening while you're going about your day, but show of hands in the chat. Is honesty, is authenticity important to you in your relationships? Now, when I ask that question in an in-person class and I say, show of hands, Is honesty and authenticity important to you in your relationships? Who are the yays? I have never, ever seen anyone not raise their hand. Right? Raise his hand. There you go. Sabyasachi, thumbs up. Exactly. So, can you say, and I'm not asking you to tell me because it's really none of my business. I'm not in a relationship with you. But can you to yourself say that you are 100% honest? Can you say that you are 100% authentic? Jess Spreet says, yes. Authentic. And authenticity is a lot, right? Being yourself, telling people how you feel, being open, being honest, having good boundaries. And when people offer you honesty, how do you reward it? Do you believe them? Or have you been hurt enough in the past that you're constantly being suspicious of others? Or what if they offer you honesty that you don't like? What if they tell you a hurtful truth? Do you thank them? Do you respond positively to that? Do you get upset? Do you yell? Do you scream? Is there a fight? Do you get defensive? How good are you at speaking those hard truths? Last week we had a conversation about having those difficult discussions, right? Yeah. Cobalt says, I can say that I'm never intentionally dishonest, but I'm pretty obtuse about my own mind sometimes. Yeah. Celine says, thank them and be a safe space to get the honesty you want. Yeah. And that can be hard. If somebody says, hey, I think you're being kind of a bitch, is your first thought to say, thank you so much for letting me know? Can you tell me more about that? I'd really like to understand how I'm coming across to you. Wow, right? And that's just one core value, honesty and authenticity. Cobalt says, I had a fight with a friend, and after a while she said something critical, then backed off saying, I shouldn't have said that. And I responded, I need to know that, though. That's good. I do need to know that. I need to know when people feel negatively about me, especially if I'm in a relationship with them, especially if I care about them. Sabyasachi says, I would say honesty would be great in terms of development level of trust in a relationship. Otherwise, lies, fakeness would be devastating. It's true. The challenge is, though, is that we have to not only want it, but we have to offer it, which is a lot of what we talk about, in my boundaries workshop. When I talk about boundaries and I talk about, we've got boundaries, and then the other side of the boundaries coin is ethics. When we say something like, hey, I think that was really mean and it hurt me, We want the other person to validate us and say, oh shit, I'm sorry. Thank you so much for telling me. Do we offer that to them? It's difficult because we're human and we don't want to hurt people. And when we say, no, I didn't hurt you, stop it, or I didn't mean that, or whatever, we're trying to push away the thought of hurting them, and we're invalidating them, and we're giving them negative feedback about their honesty. And again, this is just one of the many core values. Spirit of adventure. I've got a spirit of adventure. You know what else? I'm also an introvert. Well, I'm an ambivert. But compared to my partner, who is almost the extrovertiest of extroverts, I'm an introvert. And so my spirit of adventure and his spirit of adventure look radically different. But you know what? I adore his spirit of adventure. And when it sweeps me up and takes me out of my cocoon, my comfort zone. But when I'm feeling grouchy, I still need to validate and positively reinforce that spirit of adventure. So when he says, hey, come on, let's go do something fun. And I say, thank you so much for inviting me. It's just not for me this evening. Have a good time, right? Whereas I've known a lot of introverts who would say, no, we've gone out every night this week and I'm not going out and you are staying home with me. Negatively reinforcing, right? That authenticity, that offer. Matt says, I just grimace and figure that they're partially right. Cobalt says, I tend to feel misunderstood if they apply motives to my words or actions that don't resonate. And that is absolutely valid. What we would hope is they would say, hey, I'm feeling hurt by that. Did you mean to say, and then give you their interpretation versus, hey, you just did this on purpose or whatever it is, right? Celine says, we are all human and we all make mistakes. True, very true. Matt says, it's a really sweet offering. Maintaining total honesty in a lifelong relationship is an incredible accomplishment. Can we do some easier core values? Yes, we can, actually. Anyone want to give me a core value to riff off of? Because I'm absolutely happy to do that. Oh. What about, let's see, what have we got here? How about something simple? Love. Love. You want love in your relationships, maybe, right? Not saying you do. I do. I want love in my relationships. Do you offer love? More importantly, do you embody love through your actions in a way that they can fully realize it? Love is simple. Love is simple. A warm feeling of affection. Do you offer a warm feeling of affection in a way that they can feel it all the time? Even when you're arguing? Can you argue and still show love? Can you be loving in a way they need to feel it when you're cranky or stressed? You know, the 5 love languages? Yeah. Acts of service, words of affirmation, physical touch, gifts, quality time. My partner is words of affirmation and physical touch. When he's really angry, physical touch can make him feel the opposite of love. It can make him feel like kind of trapped in and held in place. So I have to offer words of affirmation even when I am pissed as fuck at him. Sweetie, I love you. I am saying this with all the love in my heart that you are driving me batshit crazy right now. And that does not change my love for you. It does, however, right now, change my feelings about everything else. You're driving me insane with that. Will you just shut the fridge up and let me explain myself? Right? Celine says, I'm getting there on that. Being angry, I can let my tongue run away at times. Cobalt says, no idea. I doubt it. Yeah. Hello, Calvin. Welcome. Core values. The best relationships that you find in your life, whether they are love relationships, sex relationships, romance relationships, all three, friendships, family, business, are going to be aligned in core values. Knowing your core values helps you connect much more effectively with the people out there, and drawing those boundaries around your core values is going to make a huge difference. And if you are interested in my boundaries workshop, you can find it at takenoshit.curiouser.life. It's $47. Or, as I mentioned earlier, you could go to getplus.datingkinky.com, and as a Plus member, you can ask to be added to the Take No Shit workshop and join us on setting better boundaries. That guy over there says, the core values seem to need a solid measure of self-awareness, especially in the instant of the moment. Yes. And I would say every relationship you have will benefit from you having a solid measure of self-awareness, especially in the instant of the moment. Every one of them. And that takes a lot of time to really develop the awareness, the intentionality of it, even when you're stressed or frustrated. Yep. So, in closing, thank you. Thank you to all of you for joining me today. If you have any additional questions, do not hesitate to pop them into the comments, especially if you're on the replay. I will absolutely get in and answer those questions for you. Or if you do join Plus membership and you're a part of our community there, don't hesitate to put the questions into the forums. I'm happy to answer them there. If you enjoyed this discussion, please like and share it with others who you think would enjoy it. And don't forget to follow or subscribe wherever you're finding me so you don't miss out on upcoming lives. And speaking of upcoming lives, tomorrow at 2 p.m., I will be discussing our women superior leaders as part of the FLR Femdom and Women in Charge series. At 3 p.m., I'll go into the private event for our Take No Shit workshop. And I'm going to be talking about the line between need and needy for our workshop participants. And then on Friday at 10 a.m., I'll be discussing what is ethical non-monogamy. Monday, I will be starting a new series, Sensuality, Sex, and Orgasms. And I'll be starting that off with what is an orgasm. And then on Tuesday, we'll be talking for Lucky in Love and communicating in relationships, high context versus low context communication. And that is going to be really kind of geeky and detailed, so be prepared. Calvin says, I'll be on that 2 p.m. Excellent. It'll be lovely to have you there. So thank you to all of you for joining me today. Have an amazing day wherever you happen to be, and I look forward to seeing you in other lives, in our Plus membership, or wherever you happen to find me. Thanks, y'all.